Hello everyone again. It's Justin. I'm really excited about today's video. I'm sorry. It's Justin, your health mentor here from CMH. And earlier today, I was outside for about 3.5 hours, exercising at some of the various parks. We have amazing parks here in Lapeer. If you've never taken the time to go visit the parks, there's lots of walking trails. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. There's lots of walking trails at these parks, and they also have almost every park here in Lapeer has some type of jungle gym or some type of playground, and you can always also get very creative in doing various pull-ups and push-ups and level changes and all kinds of exercises on playgrounds. It's great. You get in shape, and it kind of makes you feel like a kid again when you used to run on the playground and chase all your friends around. So I was at the park today and I thought to myself, wow, there's probably a lot of people who really don't want to get out and exercise in this heat. So I thought, well, how can I show people how to do some walking type exercises or moving type exercises where you don't have a ton of space. Maybe you're limited to just one room and no more space than this. But you still want to get some type of cardio in, as well as the other thing about these exercises that I'm going to show you today is these are dynamic motion exercises. These can be used for a warm-up. I typically use them for a warm-up. I personally don't use them much for exercise. However, you can use this as a system of exercising. All you have to do is change the intensity at which you do it. So you can do these exercises very, very slowly as a nice warm-up, or you could do them much quicker with a more rapid pace to get your heart rate up, as well as these exercises are very good for coordination, mobility, stability, balance, and also what's called vestibular awareness, which is just basically knowing where your body is in space and knowing that my left arm is moving in contingency with my right foot. So here goes. Typically when I'm doing a dynamic warm-up with someone, not every time, but typically I try to start at the bottom with the ankle joint, and then I try to focus on warming up every joint up the body as the warm-up or exercise progresses. So the very first one that you can try, and you can walk around in a circle when you do this if you don't have much space to walk. If you're fortunate enough to go outside and you have lots of room, you can do these for 10 steps, 100 steps. You can do them in a variable amount of ways. So if I don't have a lot of room, sometimes I'll just walk forward 2 or 3 steps, maybe 4 steps, and then I'll try to walk backwards 2 or 3 or 4 steps. So the very first one we're going to do is called a heel walk. So I'm going to point my toes up. It takes a little bit of balance. I take 4 steps forward, and then you can take 3 or 4 steps back. Now, depending on if you want to try to turn this into a workout or if you just want to use it as a warm-up, that'll determine. The other thing is how much space you have. If you have more space, you can take more steps. So you can do these forward. We can go to the side. I already showed you how to do them backwards. You can try it where you're pointing your toes in. Gives you a nice little burn on your outer thigh. Or you can try pointing your toes out. All great variables. That's called heel walking. Another way to warm up, we want to kind of focus on the foot and the ankle still, is toe walking. So I'm going to come up onto my toes, and I'm just going to walk on my toes. Now I say toes, but you're really not up on your toes. What you want to do is you want to be up on the ball of your foot. Everybody has a big bone right here at the bottom of their big toe. That's the beginning of the ball of your foot. So the ball of my foot is this whole area right here. So I'm not just on my toes, I'm up on the balls of my feet. So again, we can go forward, backwards, sideways. All right, toe walking. So first joint is the kind of the toes and the ankle joint we work on. The next one we're going to work on is the knees. So I call these step squats. Everybody has a little bit different level that they can go down. So if your knees are maybe you've had injuries, or you haven't been doing strength training for a long time, you have limited mobility, maybe you have an issue hinging at the hip, just go down as far as you're comfortable. If at some point you ever feel pain doing an exercise, you should probably stop immediately and just not do that exercise. Try to find a different variable. So this is called a step squat. This is also really good for coordination too. So I step forward with my left foot. I step forward with my right foot. I'm going to make sure my feet are in that good squat position, so my inside of my foot's lined up with the outside of my hip. My toes are slightly pointed out. I hinge at the hips first, and I squat down. Now I step forward with my left foot last time, so this time I have to step forward with my right foot. So I step forward with my right foot, and I squat. So I go forwards, and I go backwards. Step back with my left foot, back with my right foot. Squat, back with my right foot, back with my left foot. Squat. You could do these sideways as well. When you squat, bring your feet together, step out, squat, bring your feet together, going back the opposite way, 2 steps. So that's a really great dynamic warm-up for the knees, and you're also hinging at the hips. I'll show you another one. This one's a little bit more hip specific because we're going to keep our legs straight this time. This is also, I believe this is also called a sun salutation in yoga. A lot of dynamic walking and dynamic motion stuff. One of the best things I ever heard a trainer say about it was it looks like walking yoga, and essentially that's really what it is, walking yoga. So my feet are straight this time. I'm going to bend down as far as I can. Again, it's different for everyone. If you can keep your legs straight and touch your toes, you can put your palms on the floor or touch your toes. However far down you can go, all you need to do is go down to where you start to, this is your hamstring. You just need to go down far enough till you start to feel a pull in your hamstring. And once you feel that, that means the hamstring stretching. That's about as far as you go. But you do want to make this progressive. So maybe on Monday, I try it. I can only get to my shins. By the end of the week, my goal would be to try to touch my ankles, right? So we take a step, we touch our toes. Now this part here, we come all the way up, I spread my fingers, I'm extending my arms out forward, and I'm going to lean back as far as I can. So if you can lean back really far and see the wall behind you, that's great. If you can only make it so your hands come above your head, and all you can really do is look up before you start to feel a stretch or a burn in your back, that's as far as you need to go. So that one's really good for the hips. That's also a really good one for the whole body as well. Sometimes I start with that exercise. Sometimes I don't start walking on the heels or walking on the toes. Sometimes I start with the full body warm up to get the whole body going. And then I make the progression from low to high. Another one I like to do at the waist for people is called, I believe I call it a golfer swing or like a golfer's twist because I watch golfers, a lot of the professional golfers when they're warming up, this is what they do. One thing that you want to try to do with this one is you want to try to rotate your back foot. So when I say that, I don't want to be twisting this way. And notice how my back foot here is still pointed towards you. That's very, very bad. I don't want either of my feet to be solid. I want to be rotating on the balls of my feet. So when I go from left to right, I extend my arms out. When I twist from left to right, my back foot goes with the direction of my body. So if you're not doing that, you'll probably be okay. However, over time, you can start to twist and grind your knee, and I don't want anyone to get hurt. And I know we have 2 knees, but let's keep both of them healthy, okay? So now we twist back to the other side, and I rotate on my back foot. You can do these where your arms are level. This is a good cardio exercise too. It also strengthens your core and your oblique muscles. Or you can start low and go high. Bring my hands down, low to high. Or you can just go low to high one direction. A few repetitions, maybe 10, and then switch. Low to high another direction. Either way works. There's 3 different variations there for you. So I like to use that one especially for the core, and again, it does hit some of the hips. The next joint is going to be, the next joint up is going to be the shoulder joint. I'll give you 2 for the shoulder joint. So the very first one I like to do is these big circles. So I do 10 circles going forward. I'm trying to extend my arms out as far away from my body as I possibly can. So I'm really focusing on the mobility and flexibility of my shoulder joint. We do 10 forward. We do 10 backwards. If you want to turn this, make it a little bit more cardio specific or get a little bit more burn in your shoulders, do it faster. Do 10. And then after you've done your 10, make them small and do 10 really small, forward or backwards. You can do this in any way you want. However, yoga instructors always say, you do what your body feels like it should do. So that's usually what I kind of tell people with the warm-ups is you do these in any variation you want. The key is to get warm. So that's 1. Big circles, small circles. Another one I like to do is I call it scissors. Scissor arms or crossovers. So every time I alternate in doing this, one hand is going to go on top. So I spread my arms out as far as I can. I make myself believe I'm a great horned owl because that's one of my favorite birds, and I'm a horned owl and I'm trying to fly. So my wings go back, as far as I can, and then they come across. So now my left hand's on top, right hand's on top. You can turn your palms so they're facing in, doing the same thing. So now my thumbs are up, my palms are in. Or you can try this one if you want to really try to test yourself and your shoulder mobility. You can turn your palms up. Now, here's the key to a really good warm-up. Number one, it needs to be dynamic. You should hit just about every joint, no matter what type of exercise you're doing, whether you're jogging, walking, weightlifting, doing kettlebells. It really doesn't matter. You want to aim for a whole body warm-up. So I typically tell people think of each joint and do something, 1 to 2 exercises for each joint. Again, this is for a warm-up. If you want to turn this into cardio, you just do more repetitions at a higher intensity. Or you can do these things, the more room you have, you can do these things moving and add locomotion into it. But the real key to a good warm-up is, number one, it should make you start to feel warmer. I'm actually even starting to sweat a little bit, and it's air conditioning in here, so this has got to be a pretty decent warm-up. So you should feel your core temperature raise. How do you know your core temperature is rising? Well, you start to sweat a little bit. Now, I'm not pouring sweat, and I'm not out of breath or anything like that, but I can feel my body temperature rising. Now I know it's probably about time. I'm ready. My muscles are good. My bones are ready. I'm ready to start exercising. So, one principle about exercise is it should always be safe. Well, safety includes a really good warm-up, because if you're not warm and you start exercising, you're more likely to injure yourself. That's it for today. Next time, I'll have a few more warm-up exercises for you. And following that, what I hope to do is start putting some of this stuff together for an exercise routine for you guys. So have a great day. Stay cool.